This is Jocko Podcast number 62 with Echo Charles and me, Jocko Willink. Good evening, Echo.
Good evening.
The smallest detail taken from an actual incident in war is more instructive for me, a soldier, than all the theories and geometries in the world. They speak, no doubt, for the heads of states and armies, but they never show me what I wish to know: a battalion, a company, a squad in action. Concerning a regiment, a battalion, a company, a squad, it is interesting to know the disposition taken to meet the enemy or order for the march toward them. What becomes of this disposition or this march order under the isolated or combined influences of accidents of the terrain and the approach of the danger? Is this order changed, or is it continued in force when approaching the enemy? What becomes of it arriving within the range of the guns, within the range of the bullets? At what distance is a voluntary or an ordered disposition taken before starting operations for commencing fire, for charging, or for both? How did the fight start? How about the firing? How did the men adapt themselves? How was the charge made? At what distance did the enemy flee before it? At what distance did the charge fall back before the fire, or the good order and good dispositions of the enemy, or before such and such a movement of the enemy? What did it cost? What can be said about all these with reference to the enemy? What about the behavior? I.e., the order, the disorder, the shouts, the silence, the confusion, the calmness of the officers and men, whether with us or with the enemy, before, during, and after combat. How has the soldier been controlled and directed during the action? At what instant has he had a tendency to quit the line in order to remain behind or rush ahead? At what moment, if the control were escaping the leader's hands, has it no longer been possible to exercise it? At what instant has this control escaped from the battalion commander? When from the captain, the section leader, or the squad leader? What time, in short, if such a thing did take place, was there but a disordered impulse, whether to the front or to the rear, carrying along pell-mell with it both leaders and men? Where and when did the halt take place? Where and when were the leaders able to resume control of the men? At what moments before, during, or after the day was the battalion roll call, the company roll call made? The results of these roll calls, what were they? How many dead? How many wounded on the side and on the other side? The kind of wounds of the officers, non-commissioned officers, corporals, privates, etc. All these details, in a word, enlighten either the material or the moral side of the action, or enable it to be visualized. Possibly a closer examination might show that they are matters infinitely more instructive to us as soldiers than all the discussions imaginable on the plans and general conduct of campaigns of the greatest captain in the great movements of the battlefield. From colonel to private, we are soldiers, not generals. And it is therefore our trade that we desire to know. Certainly, one cannot obtain all the details of the same incident, but from a series of true accounts, there should emanate an ensemble of characteristic details which in themselves are very apt to show in a striking, irrefutable way what was necessarily and forcibly taking place at such and such a moment of an action in war. Take the estimate of a soldier obtained in this manner to serve as a base for what might possibly be a rational method of fighting. It will put us on guard against a priori or pedantic school methods. Whoever has seen turns to a method based on his knowledge, his personal experience as a soldier. But experience is long and life is short. The experiences of each cannot therefore be completed except by those of others. Proofs have weight. And that right there is an excerpt from a letter by a French officer in the French army named Ardant du